Greetings, my friends. It's your friendly neighborhood PhD, Dr. Judd Burton, coming to you with another episode of the Beyond Report. And I welcome you on this Wednesday, August the 25th, 2021. As always, if you like the content, please click a like, subscribe, and share. It does help the channel. And just start off with an update on our good friend Dr. Mike Heiser, biblical scholar extraordinaire. If you follow Mike and know his work and generally keep up with him, you probably heard the news that he got some good news about his cancer diagnosis. They did a PET scan and it revealed that the cancer had not spread, so that is good. It's at a stage where they can do something about it, so that is huge praise. Thank you, Jesus. Our continued prayers are with Mike and Drenna and the kids and their family, and just encourage you to lift them up, to continue to do so, and that God would continue to heal him. Um, because as I told him the last time I talked to him, we've still got work to do. Uh, but Mike, if you're listening, here's a review for you. Now, I recently watched this documentary called just titled Anunnaki, and it was made in 2017, and I watched it on Tubi, which is an app for free movies and things like that. Got some decent documentaries, some duds too. I would classify this as a dud. Um, it's a lot of what you would expect. Most of you who know my stance on all this material probably know what I'm going to say. If I were giving stars or berets out instead of stars, this would probably be a two beret movie. Um, Now it rests heavily on, clearly, although they never really reference him, it rests heavily on the work of the late Zachariah Sitchin, um, who many of you will know by books like The 12th Planet, um, and all of his discombobulated, poorly organized theories about Nibiru being Planet X. Um, Nibiru, of course, is Marduk's star, which is Jupiter in Mesopotamian astrology. And the guy clearly did not have the training necessary to look at Sumerian and other Mesopotamian tablets as he claimed to do. And so this has got this sort of. They don't play up the ancient astronaut stuff as much. They save that really for the end. Um, which you really have to torture the data to get it to admit to something like that in the first place. But generally, in terms of scholarship and interpretation, this is pretty poor scholarship. It's pop consumption, um, much along the same lines as Zechariah Sitchin's work, um, which of course fleeced millions of dollars out of millions of people. Um, but clearly errant. It suffers from a lot of the same mistakes, miscontextualizing words, um, uh, like Elohim in the creation epic. Um, he has a hard time distinguishing, which shows that he hasn't studied Hebrew, a hard time distinguishing the plural uh, appearance, but singular function, and then the actual plural function of Elohim in other contexts. Um, the One of the main themes is that Eden was basically a watcher training camp for civilization, um, and so it contextualized the Anunnaki in sort of Sitchin-esque context, if you will. The Anunnaki, of course, being largely the gods of the underworld in Mesopotamian mythology. Those who, as the name suggests, Anu, came from the god Anu. Um, um, so, anyway, um, there are some interesting comparisons that they make between the word Anunnaki and Anakim in Hebrew, and there certainly may be some tie-in there, particularly since we're dealing with the gods of the underworld. Um, but as I say, it suffers from a lot of the classic mistakes in this sort of thing, this sort of study, pop study of these ancient deities, ancient entities. And the one that just sounds like nails scratched down a chalkboard to me is this conflation of. I was just waiting for it. I suppose if I had had a full stomach, I might have thrown up, but I was just waiting for it. And then it hit. And that, of course, is this um erroneous conflation of the Watchers with the Nephilim. You're clearly dealing with two types of entities here, just from the language alone in Hebrew. So, there's another rather significant mistake that this documentary makes. Um, did it have any redeeming qualities? It was well produced. It had interesting music and lots of good visuals of these sites. One thing I did like about it is that uh, they made it clear that the Sumerians were actually not indigenous to Mesopotamia, which is true. They were not. Um, um, they came from probably the Transcaucasus region and their forebears anyway, and made their way down through the Halal and Ubaid cultures and eventually into southern Mesopotamia. So that's probably why I give one of the berets of the two that I do for um, this particular production. But can I recommend it as a good resource? No, no, no. This is just the sort of thing that propounds this erroneous idea of the Anunnaki as being um, extraterrestrial biological entities, which they neatly tile this together at the end as if it were some shiny bow. Um, so uh, I would not recommend. I mean, you can watch it for your own review if you want to. It's free, and you can get the Tubi app for free. Okay, so there's something for your consideration. If you want to learn the truth based on scholarship about these sorts of things, I'm offering my programs this week through the Institute of Biblical Anthropology for $105 a piece, which is also a pretty low sale price, given that I had a low sale price a couple of weeks ago. So you can. I would draw attention to, if you want to learn more of the truth about the Anunnaki and where they come from and what their function was. I would draw your attention to programs like biblical demonology, preternatural morphology, world mythology, and of course the ancient Near East program. The other programs, of course, are biblical anthropology, which is the original one, and Mediterranean civilization, which deals with the Aegean, the Greeks, and the Roman civilizations. Looking at all this through the biblical perspective, of course. So if you're interested in that sale's going to go through the weekend, probably through Sunday. I have it listed as 8/28, so Saturday, but I may extend that to Sunday. If you're interested, email me at professorburton@yahoo.com. We'll get you set up. I've recently been on a number of programs. I was on Expedition Truth. Jack Ashcroft is the uh, entertaining host of that fine program. I was also on Judith Koba's program out of Germany recently, and uh, Blurry Creatures, which has come to become one of my favorite programs to speak on. So we talked about Göbekli Tepe, the Temple of the Watchers, and also mythology in general, civilization. So it was a really good time, and I'll post the links to those in the description as well. For a few more hours, my books are also on sale for 15% off. I'll put that information in uh, the discussion description section. Excuse me. Um, again, let's be in prayer for the Heiser family. Um, God's done some great things in Mike's life. I know, if you're like me, you've been blessed by Mike's work, and if you know him, if he's a friend of yours, then you're doubly blessed, because he's just such a great guy, such a wonderful scholar, and I'm thankful to call him my friend. So let's keep the Heisers in prayer too, because Drina, uh, although she's doing better, she contracted COVID-19. So continue to pray for her as well. She is recovering. Um, and that's it for today. I'll talk to you soon on another episode of the Beyond Report. Godspeed.